It's an hour or two earlier in the morning to enjoy alligator jerky. The fuck is wrong with me? Go ahead and skip forward a little bit if you want to avoid the cringe fest that is me failing to interact with an audience of about 10 people. So what are we working on today? I hear you asking as I'm sipping coffee out of this very, very faded Trump coffee mug. My god, this thing didn't used to look like this. Here's a picture of what it used to look like. This mug's like 6 years old. Anyways, we're getting on with this beautiful, well, halfway done diorama. I already put down a plaster and filled in all the holes. But we need to dust up this tank. I also got some water effects and some sand, I guess I'd call it, in the garage. And we're basically gonna get this done. I'm gonna put a little bit of commentary of what I'm doing. Really try something new because I figured out how to hook a microphone up to the iPhone, which is what this is. Get some up close ASMR here. But yeah, we're gonna work on this D-Day landing project on the beaches, which I've dubbed the Speechie Project, of a M4 Sherman going onto the beaches in Normandy. I've already have this little tray of little items I'm gonna sprinkle out to the diorama. I've already got a lot of this done already, as in the small parts. A lot of the smaller parts are done. You people see me paint a lot. If you haven't, there's certainly videos on it. The tank, it's a bit old. I'm gonna do some more dusting on it, get it a good sandy weathering so it doesn't look like it's been through, well, the backfields of Missouri, more like it's on a beach invading Normandy. So we're gonna get this one really fast. I also have this digital alarm clock here to show how much time has passed between videos. Oh, look at that, 2 minutes have passed. Really good on the time management. I'm trying to make this short as it's for an art contest submission. I want it to go fast. Now, I did watch a lot of D-Day through German eyes, and it went good. And well, let's get started. If you haven't heard it before, I'm using this clock to keep time tracked as I move through this project. As of right now, I've just covered this entire board with glue and then sprinkled this dust called sanded grout all over it. Makes a great sand layer. Oh, you see I've come back with the Thought Be Gone spray. Keeps thoughts away and works as an adhesive as well. Or it's over here, you can see that I'm dusting the tank, as it's weathered to look like it's been muddy, even though there isn't mud on the beach. So I covered it in sand. Alright, we're back with the airbrush and we're just blowing off the extra grout sand stuff. Alright, we're back with the airbrush again. As you can see, we're just painting up the shaded areas, going from the darkest color first and transitioning up to the lighter ones. Now, I'm not really doing the top of the beach, I'm more shading what's going to be under the water, with it kind of fading onto the top of the beach. Alright, here you can see me taking a very long time to prepare to dam up the walls for this. Alright, now we're gluing down the tank. Now typically you wouldn't glue down the tank as this one weighs 40 tons. But this smaller one is made of plastic, so it'll probably float away in the resin. So I had to glue it down. It wasn't like it was going anywhere anyways. Here I'm taking out the various components of the deep pour water kit from Woodland Scenics. You can see that clock in the background as I'm pouring all the resin and doing all the resin work. It's about 9:35. Taking a fair bit of time to read the instruction. Now this process right here is probably the most tiring, as I had to sit there for about 5 minutes to just mix shit and let it set for a couple of minutes and mix shit. You can see my little kitchen timer guy sitting on this little thing, rotating as I'm mixing this. I add a little bit of dirt to give it a kicked up sand effect in the water. Alright, here I'm adding the resin, and my diorama is having a bit of anal leakage. Butt plugged. But on a more serious note, as the resin started to harden up, it did get thicker and it did eventually stop leaking. Alright, we're about to see a magical traveling in time. Ready? Boom, 24 hours have just passed. Alright, now I am peeling off the edges. Nice and good. Now, I actually got a bit scared here because that picture frame was actually stuck on pretty good. I was worried I'm going to have to figure out a way to cut the picture frame into shape. But eventually, after cutting off some of the excess resin with a little razor knife, I was able to gently bend the glass part and it popped off. It's me struggling with it quite a bit, actually. Up there it goes. Alright, here I'm cutting off more excess. Now in a little bit we're gonna see a skip in that little clock over there, as I went outside the garage and had to take a file to this thing. The resin Woodland Scenics provides is actually really tough resin. So we have to come in with a file to get that shit sanded and ready. Alright, 20 minutes have passed. Man, that took a while. And I am now trimming off some of the excess hot glue and just shaping up the base. As for the sides on the beach, I'm not entirely sure what I'm planning to do with that. I might fix it later, but right now I'm more worried about the way the water looks. Alright, here I'm coating it in glossed Mod Podge, and this makes small ripples in the water. Now when you're working with water, you want to go the opposite. You want to come in very soft and hit it with the hard stuff later. And by the hard stuff, I mean large waves I'm soon going to be added to the diorama. Alright, here I'm doing the water and waves effect from Woodland Scenic. It's also dyed relatively the same color. It goes on a little cloudy because it's not dry yet. After it dries, you'll see it's taking on a more clear and more water-like look. There it is before drying. Here it is after. Now normally D-Day pictures, as everyone typically remembers them, are taken on very dark setting. And because of that, I decided to take out these pictures. And I achieved the effect I wanted, where I essentially had created something that most people had thought D-Day looked like in their heads, but it's just weird because D-Day wasn't actually this cloudy. I mean, most of us remember it that way. By the way, this is how I took the pictures. Pretty ingenious if I don't say so myself. But I think games like Call of Duty, even the newer Call of Duties like Call of Duty World War II, really paint D-Day in a dark picture, and that's why we all remember it this way. D-Day wasn't actually this dark though. It was actually taken on a normal sunny day. But I think from a gameplay perspective, taking on the largest evil in the world at the time, you wanted a more darker tone. Here's an actual colorized picture of D-Day, as you can see, nice and bright outside. Now here are a bit more pictures of it taken out in the bright sunlight, and I really love the glistening of the waves. As you can see, they've cleared up a little bit and really do look like waves. It's just absolutely stunning in the sky. Now sadly, I no longer live on an island, so I can't get this bitch by a beach and take even better pictures. But I do feel like these pictures do a really good job at giving D-Day a way more commemorative portrayal. Because despite them being in the sun, it wasn't fun for them. Their sacrifice made it so thousands of people in Europe, tens of thousands of people in Europe, could enjoy their day at the beach and not live in the enslaved world of Nazi Germany. Here we have a few spin arounds. Here we have a meme. Only War Thunder people will get this. By the way, if you need these photos or would like some more stock footage that I have available, simply DM me at this.
Tanks move up on the flank.